In my city, and it's like that.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Osh Knows. It's been a long time, but I'm back. We got lots of stuff to cover coming up. I'm going to kind of keep it the same, kind of change it up a little bit. Probably won't be as many vlogs because for some reason Casper hasn't had as many live shows lately, especially hip hop. So we're going to stick with current events, things going on. I'm still going to cover Wyoming artists, mainly hip hop stuff. But in this episode, as you can see, I'm all suited up, ready to go. We got the Tommy Bronco windbreaker on, you know what I mean? It's getting that time again. It's almost playoff football time. So if you ain't an NFL fan, stick around anyway, but that's what this episode will be about. So I'm proud. My Denver Broncos, for the first time in a long time, we have a glimmer of hope at seeing the playoffs. It's been a really long time. Anybody who watches football, they know that. The Broncos have been the bottom of the NFL for almost a decade now, since Peyton Manning left. It was the last time we even made the playoffs. We've been through a million quarterbacks since then. Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian, Joe Flacco, Teddy Bridgewater, Zach Wilson, and on and on and on. We've signed almost 20 quarterbacks since Peyton Manning left. So, that being said, this would be a little bit more upbeat because for the first time in a long time, the Broncos got a chance at making the playoffs. We're sitting at 9-6 right now with 2 games to go. We play the Cincinnati Bengals this weekend and then the Chiefs to finish up the season, and those ain't no slouches. Those are rough games. But looking around the AFC, it looks like we got a lot of good teams there in contention. In first round matchups, we got the Steelers facing the Texans, the Steelers in the 5 seed and the Texans in the 4 seed. We got the Chargers in the 6 seed versus the Ravens in the 3 seed. And then the Broncos right now are sitting at 7. And if the playoffs were to end today, which it's not, we still got 2 more weeks. So we got a little wiggle room to try to move above the Chargers. But as of right now, we're where we're sitting against number 2, that's the Buffalo Bills, which I'm not going to lie, as a Broncos fan, that's not the matchup I want to see in the first round, if I'm being honest. The Buffalo Bills are on fire. Josh Allen's he's killing it. He's in the MVP race. He's not my choice for MVP, but he's in the hunt. A lot of people really like Josh Allen. I've never really he's talented, I'll say that. I've never been a big fan of Josh Allen because I'm a Broncos fan and not a Buffalo Bills fan, and I'm from Wyoming. And so a lot of people, because he went to UW, they bandwagon for that reason, which I don't either, because I'm from Casper and Logan Wilson's from right here, Casper, Wyoming. And so if I'm going to rep anybody from UW, it's going to be Logan Wilson over anybody because he's from right here in Casper. Also, Taven Bryant, I don't even know if he's playing anymore, but he got drafted to the Jags was it the year before or the same year as Logan Wilson? One of the two. But anyways, those are the guys that I cheer for in the league. Denver Broncos, I can't really cheer for any other teams. That's just the way I am with the NFL stuff, with college or baseball or even the NBA. The Nuggets are my team, but I watch a lot of other teams, and in the NFL I watch a lot of teams, but I do not root for any other teams besides the Denver Broncos. So that's the way the AFC playoff picture is looking at the moment. So like I said before, the Broncos and the Chargers are both sitting at 9-6 right now, so we got some room in that wild card slot to jump up and down over each other. And also, the Steelers are down in that wild card spot. So hypothetically, the Steelers and the Chargers lose these last 2 games and the Broncos win their last 2 games, we got a chance to move up to the 5 seed, which would have us facing the Texans, which would be a way more favorable first round matchup for the Denver Broncos. Now, just because I'm a Broncos fan, I don't want to get stuck all on the Broncos. There's a lot of other good teams out there. The Ravens are another team that I always watch out for. Lamar Jackson, I've kind of always been pulling for him since he came in the league. He's had to face these injuries and things like that, but I feel like apples to apples in the league. He's my favorite quarterback talent wise. So that's just that. I mean, of course, you got Patrick Mahomes. He's he's Mr. Winner, chicken dinner. But he's also, they've won in some real ugly ways in a lot of different ways. Their defense and their special teams has all showed up. They make the big third down plays. Maybe Travis Kelce doesn't do anything all game, but on a game winning drive, he snags 2 or 3 in, or maybe a touchdown. So they're they're hitting at the right spot right now. Their whole team is hitting. So what I, again, as a Broncos fan, am hoping is that because they got the number 1 seed locked up, maybe they sit their starters in the last week when we play them, so we can get that win. Which we never know at this point. Maybe they want to play, maybe they don't. But I'm hoping for that. Now, that's that. Let's get over to the NFC side of things. So we got the Lions have the number 1 seed right now, but they're the Eagles are right behind them. They're a game behind them. So anything could happen in these last 2 weeks. The Lions are looking really, really good. I don't know if they're looking as good last year or as they did last year. To me, personally, I feel like they got a lot more injuries right now. The reason why I like football in the first place is all because of Barry Sanders. So I've always, shown love to the Lions. Not necessarily that they've ever been my team, but when I first got into football, it's because of Barry Sanders back in '95 is when I first started watching the NFL. So I've always looked out for the Lions. So Eagles are a game behind them, so we'll see how it shakes out in these last 2 weeks. But as it's sitting right now, if the playoffs were to start today, we got the Eagles Washington would be in Philadelphia. We got the Packers would be in LA versus the Rams. We got the Vikings would be in Atlanta versus the Falcons. I feel like maybe the Falcons are similar to the Texans on the AFC side. They got a lot of weaknesses. Maybe they're one of the weaker teams in the playoff hunt right now. But I've always also liked the Falcons. I really like Kirk. I actually went to the Broncos game where we played the Falcons this year just because I was hoping, Kirk was going to do a little bit more. Of course, I was rooting for the Broncos to win, but you always want to watch a good game, especially when it's against other good players. But for some reason, Kirk just hasn't, he hasn't really found his stride this year with the Falcons like he has every other year. Dude's been one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league almost every year of his entire career. And so, and he's always put up or shut up. He's never made it to that big one. But game in and game out, if you want 10 to 12, 13 wins a season, Kirk Cousins is that guy. So, like I said, he'd be, if as of today, facing the super sneaky good Vikings team. The Vikings, they're really, really good. Also, the Packers, I feel like they're, two teams that nobody's talking about that could, beat pretty much anybody in the league on any given Sunday. So, those are 2 teams I've definitely been looking out for on the NFC side. Here's my super early Super Bowl prediction. Now, I know because I'm a Broncos fan, I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack, a lot of hate, but this is me just being real. So, like a lot of people who sports bet, if you bet with your head, you don't bet with your heart. So, I do the same when I pick who I think is going to take it all the way. And, I hate to say it, my head is telling me that it's going to be the Chiefs and the Eagles, and everybody's sick of seeing the Chiefs. I'm sick of seeing the Chiefs, but it's just the safe bet. Like I said, the Chiefs are hitting, I feel like the Lions are too banged up. I don't feel like they're going to get to the big one. I feel like the Eagles with Saquon Barkley, with that addition, and, they're still doing the tush push, even with Jason Kelce gone with the same effectiveness. So, the Eagles are a really, really hard one out of the NFC. So that's my super early Super Bowl prediction. Chiefs versus the Eagles. Of course, I'm pulling for the Broncos to kill everybody, but as of right now, we're seeing the Bills in the first round, and that's not an easy first round matchup. F the Bills. Let's go Broncos. I hope that's how it goes. I'm hoping, honestly, that we jump up in the seeding to a number 5 to where we could jump up and see maybe Houston or Pittsburgh, depending on how these last weeks play out. But that's what I'm hoping for. Um, that's my take as a lifelong NFL fan. Let me know what you think. I got a lot of homies, a lot of people in here who watch a lot of football, so I've been watching it forever. Let me know what you guys think. Oath from the Ghost.